right now on 12 News at 10.
I'm Chase Golightly in Phoenix, where the City Council just made a decision regarding a controversial ordinance regarding unhoused individuals receiving medical care in city parks. What they decided, coming up.
I'm Tiani Jadaling in the newsroom. New measles cases confirmed in Maricopa County, and more Mesa exposure sites have been identified. What residents need to know tonight.
Temperatures get a little bit hotter tomorrow, but we click up to the triple digits starting Friday. I'll let you know how long those 100s are going to stick around.
12 News at 10 starts now.
Good evening. We begin with breaking news. We're tracking a major closure on I-10 that's expected to last for several hours. The eastbound lanes of I-10 are closed at I-17 for a police investigation. This is a live look from an ADOT camera at 27th Avenue showing the backup.
And as you can see, traffic is being detoured onto I-17 headed southbound. Drivers should avoid the area while police investigate. So far, DPS does not have an estimated time for when the highway will reopen.
After more than 6 hours, the Phoenix City Council just approved new restrictions on food distribution and medical care for people who are experiencing homelessness in city parks. Thanks for joining us tonight for 12 News at 10. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Kadiva Devine. This comes after more than a year of back and forth discussions. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is joining us live outside of the City Hall chambers. And Chase, what more can you tell us?
Well, Creepy, I'll tell you, it was a very long city council meeting, but at the very end, they approved this ordinance in a 6-3 vote. And as you mentioned, they've been discussing this for more than a year. And you may remember they approved this ordinance back in December, but they kept delaying its implementation so they could get more community feedback leading to tonight's approval. Now, I want to go ahead and show you some bullet points of what this ordinance will do. Now, under the ordinance, service providers that give medical care or food to the homeless population at city parks will now have to get a permit, which are free. It requires that medical treatment must happen in an enclosed tent or mobile medical vehicle in designated areas like parking lots. All needles and medical waste must be thrown away. And only 2 service permits, including food distribution permits, can be issued for the same eligible park each month. Now, the city says this is in response to problems of needles and medical waste being left behind, creating unsafe conditions for people and families who go to our parks here. Many parents, firefighters, coaches, and more speaking in favor of the ordinance.
At its core, this is about ensuring our parks remain safe, functional, and accessible for everyone.
We believe we can support vulnerable population while preserving the safe, dedicated spaces for children.
I went down the slide and got hurt with the needle, and I was bleeding, and my mom had to take me to the hospital.
Public comment on this topic went on for more than 5 hours. The majority of speakers against it. Those same service providers and homeless advocates arguing this ordinance is essentially a ban, saying while the goal is to clean up the parks of needles, it won't stop people from finding them. The City Parks Department also said there's no data that they have showing this will clean up the parks.
Because I believe that living beings deserve care, food, shelter, and compassion.
Criminalization does not reduce the needles in the park. Criminalization does not solve the underlying problem.
There's this mythology that's out there that providers are coming and giving people needles, and then those needles end up on the ground. That's not what happens.
Now, those same people against this ordinance also said that for those who do provide treatment without a permit, they will be hit with a Class 1 misdemeanor, essentially making it a crime to help people experiencing homelessness if they don't follow these new rules. Other council members say it comes down to finding a balance for both sides, creating a safe place for families to enjoy Phoenix parks while not completely getting rid of the services that unhoused individuals rely on. Now, we were told tonight that this ordinance will go into effect on June 5th. They're going to start the application process on their website after tomorrow morning. But this battle doesn't seem to be over. For some of the speakers tonight, including local attorneys, they said that this ordinance violates First Amendment rights, and they are potentially threatening litigation to prevent this ordinance from going through. So again, this could still be an ongoing situation. We'll be sure to keep you updated as it develops. We're live in downtown Phoenix. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thank you. The city of Tempe will pay $150,000 to settle a wrongful death lawsuit filed by the mother of Sean Bickings. Bickings died back in 2022 after he jumped into Tempe Town Lake during an encounter with police. Body camera footage shows Bickings pleading for help while in the water before an officer says that he's not jumping in to help. Following his death, the city made changes to how officers respond to water rescues. They've also added new throw bags to help officers rescue those in the water.
A chaotic scene in Oldtown after a series of shootings near Camelback and Miller Roads early this morning. Police say multiple people are in custody, including a suspect who was shot by police. All of the shootings happened within a half-mile radius. Police tell us the shootings are connected, but they're still investigating how. We're told the man who was shot allegedly reached for his waistband before an officer shot him. He was taken to the hospital and remains in critical condition tonight.
Tonight, warm, dry, windy conditions are making it a real challenge for fire crews trying to gain some ground on the Hazen fire burning near Buckeye. The fire has now burned more than 1,100 acres and remains 45% contained. But the good news is that no homes or structures are being threatened at this time. Earlier today, Arizona forestry officials took us to get a closer look at the fire and to get a better understanding of how crews are making progress.
We got engines that are monitoring and patrolling around the whole incident, off the 85 even. I know it shows that we have some containment over there, but we're still monitoring and patrolling in that area.
Fire crews remain on the scene tonight, patrolling the fire line. The Hazen fire first broke out on Saturday. The cause has not yet been determined.
We continue to cover new measles cases spreading across Arizona. A total of 13 measles cases have now been confirmed in Maricopa County alone. This comes after the county's health department confirmed 3 new cases today.
Yeah, and while those cases are connected, officials say that they had no travel or other known source of exposure, meaning that they were likely infected within Maricopa County. 12 News journalist Tiani Jadalang is joining us now in studio with what residents should know about this. Tiani?
Caribe Mark, according to the Maricopa County Department of Public Health, these 3 new cases are being linked to the East Valley. At least 10 locations in Mesa are now considered public exposure sites, something public health experts say they're seeing more of this now often. This is a map of recent public exposure sites around the city of Mesa. The Maricopa County Department of Public Health announcing Wednesday that an additional 3 new measles cases have been confirmed. Will Humble of the Arizona Public Health Association believes this might be the new normal moving forward.
I mean, I honestly believe that the days of measles eradication in the U.S. are over.
The county is asking individuals that may have been at any of these locations from mid-April to early May to watch for symptoms. Experts say those symptoms typically appear 7 to 12 days after exposure, but may take up to 21 days.
The initial symptoms are like a really fast developing and really high fever. But the real clinical indicator is a really unique rash that measles has. Starts at the hairline, spreads throughout a lot of the exposed parts of the body, the face, etc.
According to the county, the MMR vaccine is the most effective way to prevent measles infections. Unvaccinated individuals have a 90% chance of becoming infected if exposed. The main reason Humble says he recommends the vaccine.
It's just so contagious. It's so contagious that you need to have 95% coverage in order to prevent that community transmission. And there are very few places in Arizona with adequate vaccination rates now.
And it's this group who he's most concerned about.
When we have these people who won't vaccinate their kids, and now we've got community transmission of measles here in the valley, people that I'm most worried about are little infants because their immune systems are still immature. They're really susceptible to pneumonia. Which can be lethal.
There's no known treatment for measles, but it can be prevented. If symptoms do develop, experts recommend neighbors stay home and call a healthcare provider to seek medical care and testing. Live in studio, I'm Tiani Jadalang, 12 News.
All right, Tiani, thank you. Happening tomorrow, a jury will decide whether a former Phoenix chef will be sentenced to death after being convicted of murdering his wife and 2 children. Anthony Milan Ross was found guilty of first-degree murder for killing the 3 people that took place on Christmas back in 2017. Ross was also found guilty of firing at police when they stormed his apartment near 16th Street and Highland Avenue. The verdict will be read at 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Also happening tomorrow, the former Cesar Chavez High School could get a new name. The school is currently being called Champion Circle High School. The district chose to change the original name when allegations of sexual abuse surfaced against the late civil rights activist Cesar Chavez. District leaders will consider the change at tomorrow's board meeting. Now, according to a district survey, the top 3 proposed names are Levine High School, Champion Community High School, and Cactus Canyon High School. Tomorrow's meeting is at 6 o'clock at district headquarters.
A $10 billion data center in the West Valley has cleared a major hurdle with the Maricopa County Board, giving its approval despite overwhelming opposition from the public.
12 News journalist Bram Resnick explains why the most important factor in the board's decision was whether Luke Air Force Base approved of the project.
Serve the state of Arizona.
The room was packed.
Surprise gets nothing from it, except all the lasting effects of the toxins it will spew.
In-person and online comments were overwhelmingly opposed to a proposed data center near Surprise.
Every data center in Arizona is a tragedy, and it is a travesty.
But one voice mattered most. The proposed data center's neighbor, Luke Air Force Base.
I told them, if Luke is against it, I'll be against it.
Republican County Supervisor Debbie Lesko's West Valley District is home to both Luke and the data center site. The massive data center, the size of 35 football fields, and the natural gas plant that would power it, would sit squarely in the Luke flight path. That's 170 flights a day.
How is your client going to ensure that all of Luke Air Force Base concerns that they spelled out are going to be met?
The data center developers needed to respond to Luke's concerns in order for the county board to approve a required military compatibility permit.
If we have a building permit and we built it and we're operating and we're not in compliance with those conditions and requirements, that's deemed a violation and we get shut down.
That was enough for Lesko and 3 other board members to approve the permit, but not for Democratic Supervisor Steve Gallardo.
I really do not believe that this is the appropriate location for this project. There's so many outstanding questions.
And that was Bram Resnick reporting. The city of Glendale will now need to annex the data center land, which is projected to create an estimated $20 million a year in property taxes. Construction could start as early as next year.